Today I'll be sharing with you about my ACTFL unit plan template. I planned this unit for fifth graders, novice high, for approximately 100 minutes a week. I teach twice a week, 50-minute classes to the fifth graders, so I anticipate this will take about 3 months to get through. The theme is personal and public identities, and the essential questions are, who am I? And going further into those essential questions, how do I interact with others from the target culture? How are my likes and dislikes different or similar from that of the target culture? And how do I greet and say goodbye others in the target culture? So the IPA assessment overview tell us that learners will be able to interpret an authentic article about a girl's life in Spain, compare their own life to that of a typical Spanish boy or girl, interview other students in class by asking them questions about themselves and answering similar questions, present a Todo sobre mí presentation to the class from a keynote on their iPad, and to respond to questions about themselves from the class. They'll also be able to write an email to a pen pal in Spain using proper greetings and goodbyes, and Skype with that pen pal in Spain using proper greetings and goodbyes. Once they've Skyped, they will go back to the class and share a few facts that they learned about their new friend from Spain. If we move down to the interpretive mode and look how the presentational mode and the interpersonal mode are all connected, we see that first they'll be doing some reading with authentic articles, El Mundo de Candela. Then they'll be watching an authentic video about a brother and a sister living in Spain. And after doing the readings and watching the videos, they'll be creating a Venn diagram comparing themselves to the life in Spain. To get some practice, they'll be talking with their classmates off of interview question cards, but this will be a spontaneous interview. Student A will have questions that student B doesn't know. Student B will have questions that student A doesn't know about. So they'll practice listening to each other, what they're saying, and using that target vocabulary that they read in the authentic text and saw and heard in the authentic video. Once they have compiled enough information, they will be working continuously throughout the unit on a Todo sobre mí project on their iPad, and eventually they'll be presenting it to the class using a presentation rubric that I have given to them. If we move down, we see the toolbox. And we have the language functions, we have the related structure patterns, and we have all of the vocabulary expansion in Tier 1 and also in Tier 2 that students will need to know. Definitely students will be asking for information about a friend's likes or dislikes, and they'll need to know the question words ¿dónde?, ¿qué?, ¿cómo?, ¿por qué?, y ¿cuántos?, y ¿quién?. They'll be expressing likes and dislikes about themselves or a friend, so they will need to know me gusta, te gusta, and le gusta, plus the infinitive form. They'll be describing themselves and others, so they'll need to know the yo, the tú, the él, ella, y usted forms of tener, soy, and vivir. And particularly paying close attention to the feminine, masculine, singular, plural, and adjective agreement. They will need to know greetings, welcomings, introducing themselves, leaving, takeaways. So they will need to know the vocabulary of how to greet. And they'll be comparing their life to that of someone in Spain or even a madrileño from Madrid. So they'll need to know the we form of ser, tener, nosotros, and gustar and vivir. What are the key learning activities and formative assessments? Well, basically, to dive a little deeper, they'll be watching a video clip on Madrid tourism and listing the activities that people do. This will help them explore elements of the Madrileño lifestyle and make comparisons. We see that that will be the interpretive and interpersonal modes of communication. Then they'll be reading an article from the Spanish website, ABC Español, to learn a little bit about typical sports played in Spain. They'll explore how Spanish people spend time exercising and make comparisons around their school to students in their own community. And this will involve all three modes. Then they'll be working with a partner to listen to part of a TV broadcasting clip from Spain, Como saludar correctamente, and they'll learn about different styles of how to say hello and goodbye. And they'll be adding to their multimedia presentation where they'll also be sharing about what they learned about their Spanish pen pal and what he or she likes to do. And how is that similar or different from their own life? So that will be exploring how all Spanish boys and girls compared to themselves have similarities and differences. Again, involving interpersonal, interpretive, and presentational modes, as well as the self, the community, and the world. If I think about the core practices and how those have influenced my lesson planning, I must admit that the research definitely has encouraged me to look deeper into planning a successful foreign language unit. It's definitely helped me peel back layers and introduce more things than I generally would have. Core practice number 1, using comprehensible input in the 90% in the target language will be a challenge for me this year, but I'm ready to rise to that. Core practice 2, there's definitely interpersonal communication, oral interpersonal communication, and presentational communication in my unit plan, as well as in my daily lessons. And core practice 5, designing and carrying out interactive reading and listening comprehension tasks using authentic texts is definitely a challenge for me, and it has been really good to sift through a lot of those and prepare them for this unit plan. In day 1, we are going to look at the lesson objectives where students can interpret an authentic article about a girl's life in Spain and compare their life to that of a Spanish girl in the article by sharing that with a partner. I always like to do a warm-up where we have fun and sing our song, Charla, Charla, Charla. And when I say para, all students find a partner and they introduce themselves using that familiar vocabulary that they already know, like buenos dias, me llamo, mucho gusto, hasta luego. And then they're also going to be holding up a sí es verdad, no es cierto card, giving their opinion to slides that I've created on Me Gusta, Yo Tengo, and Vivo and Keynote. Then we're going to dive into the article, the authentic article of El Mundo de Candela. You can find it on this link here. And partner work, they'll be going into their Google Drive, opening up the article themselves and circling all the words that they don't recognize and highlighting the words that, circling the words they do recognize and highlight the words that they don't. I'll do a whole class check-in. There's some independent work where they will be looking at cierto, falso about Candela's life. And then they'll be meeting with partners on their appointment clock to tell about how is their life different or similar from Candela and using the target language. We often use Spanish Google Classroom sites to blog with the classroom. It's a safe environment. So instead of an exit slip, I would have students blog one way that their life is different from Candela's and similars, and have students respond to that. As far as day 2 goes in the lesson plan, we will be continuing with our learnings where students can ask and answer questions with a classmate about his or her life and compare lifestyles with a Spanish boy or girl from authentic video about Aitor and Ana using Venn diagram organizer. The activating prior knowledge will be coming actually from their homework and a question that I had them post on their Google Classroom site. Then they will be diving into the video of Aitor and Ana, doing some partner work, comparing results. I will be providing input, looking at where the map is of Barcelona, and making sure that all the students are on the same page. So this is how I have decided to jump into my lesson plan, and I really thank you for this great class and for allowing me to learn so much.